Good afternoon. I am excited to be reading Chapter 5 of Masterpiece by Elise Broach. My name is Carrie Werner, 4th grade teacher, and here we go, Chapter 5. It's remarkable. James leapt away from the desk. "Hi, Mom," he said nervously. I'm just getting ready for church." "Well, you need to hurry, dear." His mother leaned over to kiss James on the cheek, balancing William on her hip. The baby flung himself forward, burbling excitedly, "Ya-ya! Ya-ya! Ya-ya!" Mrs. Pompaday tried to restrain him. "Yes, William, that's James. Can you say, ja, James?" When the baby grabbed a fistful of her jacket, she chided, "Don't muss Mommy's new blazer." Nice blazer, excuse me. Then redirected her attention to her older son. "We don't want to be late, James. Everyone in this house is so slow in the mornings. Sometimes I think I'm the only one who cares about looking presentable and being on time." She checked her hair in James's mirror, patting it approvingly. "Who were you talking to?" "Nobody," James said. "Just myself." "Well, try not to do that. It's not normal." "Oh, I don't want to see that ink bottle uncapped, James. It'll get knocked over. You promised to be..." James hurriedly shuffled the pages on the desk, trying to hide Marvin's drawing. But when he wasn't fast enough, Mrs. Pompaday marched across the room and lifted the paper. "What's this?" James hesitated. He looked in the direction of the piggy bank where Marvin crouched out of sight. "Nothing, just a picture." "Yes, I can see that." Mrs. Pompaday turned the page in her hand, studying it. "Where did you get it?" "Don't tell her," Marvin thought. "Please don't tell her." He had a sudden understanding of how grave a risk he had taken. Drawing the picture, showing himself to James, taking credit for the artwork. Not only was he personally in danger if Mrs. Pompaday realized a beetle had done the drawing, but his whole family could be in jeopardy as soon as she discovered there were beetles in the house, artistically talented ones or not. She wasn't a woman with a tolerance for bugs. Mrs. Pompaday continued to stare at the picture. "Did it come with the ink set as an example?" she asked. She turned slowly toward the window, still holding the page. Oh, my goodness, James! Did you draw this? Why, I can't believe it. It's remarkable!" Marvin watched James's face from his viewpoint under the piggy bank. He saw so many feelings chase across it. Worry, then surprise, then a flash of pure joy as his mother exclaimed over the drawing. "James! I had no idea you could draw like this." William lunged for the paper and Mrs. Pompaday raised it out of his reach. "No, William, you mustn't touch." She held it at arm's length, scrutinizing it. "I don't understand why your art teacher at school hasn't spoken to me. You've a fantastic talent, dear." Marvin saw James open his mouth to protest, then weakly close it. His mother continued to gush. It's astounding is what it is. Such cunning detail. I must show it to Bob." She called repeatedly for Mr. Pompaday, who eventually appeared in the doorway, tightening his tie. "Yes, what's the fuss?" "Bob, look at this. Look at the wonderful picture our James has made." Mr. Pompaday considered the drawing and harumphed. "Huh, James couldn't have drawn that. It looks like some kind of museum reproduction, like one of those old engravings." I know, Mrs. Pompaday agreed. "That's what I thought myself. But look, it's the scene outside James's window. He drew it with his new pen and ink set." Mr. Pompaday took the paper and walked to the window. He surveyed the street and looked back at the picture. "Huh," he said, "so it is." He squinted irritably at James. "Where'd you get the art set?" "From my dad," James said, looking down. "For my birthday." "That's right, Carl stopped by yesterday," Mrs. Pompaday added in a rush. "Dropped off a pen and ink set for James. I didn't think much of the idea myself, an 11-year-old boy using permanent ink. But look at what James made. Honestly, I can hardly believe it. I never imagined he had this kind of gift." Marvin winced. Mrs. Pompaday went on. "I suppose with his father being an artist, I did suspect that James might have some sort of aptitude in that area. But really..." Mr. Pompaday frowned. "Carl, this is much better than that hogwash Carl paints. This actually looks like something." I know, isn't it splendid? I can't wait to show it to the Mortons. They're always purchasing those fancy little sketches from Sotheby's for outrageous sums. Wait until they see what my own child has drawn." Mrs. Pompadour squeezed James's shoulder, and William reached for a fistful of his hair. James smiled uncertainly, batting William's hand away. "Well, should I get ready for church?" he asked. "Look at the time!" Mr. Pompadour snapped. "Yes, hurry up, James. We have to leave in 20 minutes. He grabbed William from his wife and stomped into the hall. Mrs. Pompadour started to follow him, the drawing in her hand, but James touched her sleeve. "Mom, could I keep the picture here with my ink set?" "Oh," Mrs. Pompadour hesitated. "Yes, of course. I'd like to show it to a few people, that's all. It really is so lovely." She placed it regretfully on the desk. "You'll be careful, won't you, James, not to spill anything on it? Perhaps you could work on another one this afternoon." James shot an awkward glance at Marvin. "I don't know, Mom, maybe, but Dad's coming, remember? And it would take me a while." "Oh, I can imagine it would. I don't know when you found time for it yesterday with the party and everything else." She smiled at him again. "I can't believe you were able to draw this, James. And think, if you hadn't gotten that ink set, we might never have discovered this fabulous talent of yours." As she clicked out of the room, something about her approving gaze reminded Marvin of his own mother, who would be frantic with worry back at home. He'd been gone all night. His parents would have no idea what happened to him. With the coast clear, he sped across the desktop and down the wooden leg to the floor. "Wait!" cried James. "Where are you going?" But Marvin dashed away, feeling comfortingly certain that his new friend wouldn't try to stop him.